beat Senegal, and I figured it was going to be tough for Senegal to do anything without Sadio Mane. But I had figured because Mendy was behind and under the goalpost, they would have a chance, and they did. I have to update this one really quick because I had it should be two. Apologize about that. Um, there we go. Get live editing on the fly. Okay, so it's literally Ecuador and Netherlands are tied in first place. Um, I see them both going. The game they play against each other will be crucial to figure out who goes in as first, who goes in as second. Senegal is going to be difficult competition for Ecuador. They could beat Ecuador. It's not far out the realm because of the fact that Ina Valencia took a got banged up in that game against Qatar. So I'm not sure. I have to see how his knee's doing. He was limping. It could be nothing. They're playing against him on Friday. Anything could happen. He could be fine by then. Senegal could be trouble for Ecuador though. They're right there. A win for them is good. Um, happens. See what happens with Ecuador. I mean Senegal and Qatar as well too though. Because if they tie and then they tie against Ecuador, then they're out. Doesn't matter if Ecuador ties or loses to Netherlands. So that's interesting there. But like I said, I had Netherlands winning this Group A and Ecuador in second place. But Senegal is they held their own against the Netherlands. Netherlands literally just they pulled it out like towards the end. So that one's is fine. All right. Group B is what everybody's been waiting to talk about. All right. England literally like dismantle Iran. Like I felt bad. It was worse than Ecuador Qatar because of the fact that you had literally the youngsters for England putting on a show. Bukayo Saka and Jude Bellingham. Two of the guys I said to watch out for on my list for young players to watch. Buyako with a brace in that game did pretty good for himself, and Jude Bellingham with a heck of a header on there. You can't take that from him. They're going to be one to watch and see what they can do after this because of the fact that, yeah, that's Iran, but now you have Wales and you have USA. That's going to be interesting to see where they go from there. You know, the all hands are all eyes are on this group because it's some people thought it was going to be easy. Iran to me was the easier of all of the teams, you know, to look at. It's overlook them. Same boat as Qatar. Wales is the issue. USA to me lost that game. They gave that game away. Coming into this tournament, I felt that the back line was an issue for USA, but more importantly, the center backs. The outside backs are okay. They're not that they're okay. They're not a big issue. They're not their Achilles heel, but the center backs. And the game today just proved it. There was no need for Walker Zimmerman to dive on that ball. Just get to it. You were maybe a step or two away. Get to it. Put a body on him. The last thing you want to do is put your leg out like that on somebody as experienced as Gareth Bale. He's gonna feel that leg. He's gonna fall. Even though it was a clear foul, but still, even if he just didn't even touch him, he's gonna look for that penalty kick. He's inside the box. You're down 1-0. There's like 5 minutes left in the game. Okay, you can't do that in the game as crucial as this. This tournament, you only play 3 games. Every point matters. Every point. If you win or tie, you still have a chance. But if you lose, especially the first game, you're literally against the wall. You cannot lose the first game. These teams that lost their first games, they're in trouble. Iran is in trouble. I have to update this one too, because this should be 1-0. Sorry, it's just looking at it now. I'm like, yeah, I gotta update this. You can't go into this thinking that you're gonna be all right after a certain point. You have to win. You have to win. You cannot lose. And close games like this, where you have to finish it, this comes down more on the coach than the players, because at this point it's the subs. Like I was telling a friend of mine, we were talking. Wales was looking for a counterattack. If you watch them, they're sitting back, they're waiting and just defending. They're just defending. The goal that Tim Weah was great. I'm not saying don't take anything away from that goal. It was a great goal. They came back on them. But if you're watching, they're just holding and waiting for that counterattack. You needed a player like Gio Reyna that can slide and shift his way in there to try and mess up that defense and get them on their toes and figure out like what he's going to do next. Because of the fact that they're disciplined where they're at, you need somebody to break that discipline. And you need somebody like Gio Reyna that can maneuver himself in there, like a Messi type. I'm not saying Gio is Messi, but he's shifty. He can move around. Watch what he did against Mexico. Literally 5 defenders. He can do that. You need him. And you can put Jordan Morrison in? No, he's not. Jordan Morrison is the type if you want to physically bully somebody. That's not what you need in that game. Greg Berhalter needs to get his subs correct. He needs to. The young kid, Musa, like he's 19. Hey man, 19, big game. Like I can't put anything and say anything on him. He's a 19-year-old kid playing at one of the biggest stages of the world. Like you can't knock him. You have to be there to support him. The guys need to figure out how to help him. He has potential. He's not on my list because I felt that he's just not ready yet. But he can do it. He can be a player. He can be a difference maker. For me personally, I just don't feel he's there yet. He maybe needs another year or two for the next World Cup. I believe he will be somebody important for the USA, not this one. And unfortunately, I'm not sure what was going on. He was barely visible in the game. He was moving around without the ball, and he was making some runs to pull the defense, but he was barely touching the ball. It was not a good game for him. They needed to work with him. They need to get him ready. I'm not sure if it was just too much for him or the way the flow of the game was going, but they need to find him. If they're saying he is the best, the guy, you need to get his confidence up so he gets into the game. You can't have him out. He's 19. He's a kid. He's a baby. He's a baby. I'm not saying baby him, but you got to build him up. All right. This is the World Cup. This is not CONCACAF. This is not the Gold Cup. This is not a friendly at home. This is the World Cup. This is like you only get this every 4 years. This is the nations against nations. This is our Super Bowl. Okay? You haven't been there for 8 years. And you need to make sure you do things right. Berhalter needs to get his subs right if he wants to proceed. Because what he did today, there's a couple of subs I didn't agree with. That Jordan Morris sub, I didn't agree with. Jordan Morris was not that. This was not his game. Haji Wright, I think that was too late for him. Pulisic needed to come out a little earlier. He needed to come out because he was getting banged up. He was getting banged up really bad. And that's the last thing you need is Pulisic getting banged up and missing a game. When it's only 3 games, you can't have one of your best players out. Cannot. I'm sorry. Wales, literally, all you see them is trying to find Gareth Bale. They go as Gareth Bale goes. And you saw it. There was that one play. Matt Turner came out. my son was talking. We were talking all day. He's telling me the goalies are on fire. They're going crazy. And then Matt Turner comes out and literally heads the ball and to clear it out. And Gareth Bale settles it. And he's about to take the shot because Matt Turner is still trying to go back to the net. Luckily, Colin Costa right there to foul him. Who cares about the yellow card, man? You got to foul. You can't let a play like elite players at that level. A shot like that is trouble. It's trouble. Gareth Bale is known to make shots. Okay? He has Champion League moments for a reason. But again, remember, he was playing with Real Madrid. He had a squad with him. I'm not saying Wales is trash, but if you compare Wales to Real Madrid, there's a big difference in talent. There's a big difference. This Wales team goes as far as Gareth Bale goes. They were doing okay. Barely heard his name being mentioned because they couldn't get the ball to him. But then, it's just little lapses of thinking. You have to be focused in this game, man. 1 minute a mistake like that is a lapse. It could cost you out of here. I still have hope that they can pull out of this, but USA has to beat Iran like handedly. They have to. They can't sleep on Iran. They have to hope England beats Wales like really bad, like if they stole something from them. And then USA has to try and go all out and beat England as best as they can. They can't afford to lose. They can't. It's gotten to that point. Literally, you can get in with a win and a tie, and you're pretty much you're probably in. If you win the game, you tie the game. The third game, you can lose or you can tie it. But here's the problem: if your first game is a tie, your back is against the wall because now you have 2 games left and you have to win one of the 2. And if you're in a group like this, where USA has enough talent to compete, to beat Iran, but not to completely handily close shut, I say they'll beat England, and you tie Wales when you literally had them against the ropes, Iran's going to come all out because of the fact that they still, after seeing the results today, Iran goes like, yo, we still got a chance. We got our ass whipped by England, but that was England. We got USA next, and we got Wales next. They ain't got the squad like England. If I'm Iran, I got a chance still. I think I got a chance. If USA had closed that door and beat Wales, Iran would have been like, yo, it's a different story because they're literally playing, they're trying to climb up a ladder where there's 2 teams with 3 points already. So they can't win. Iran can go into this game and like, all we have to do is not lose. And we still have a chance. Because if England beats Wales, it's a 3-way tie for first. Or for second. Let me just confirm and see what the next games are in this one because I am heated. It's just, it makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. This game was right there. It was right there. Okay, next game is Wales Iran and USA England. So United States closes their group play against Iran, and Wales closes it out against England. So literally right now, USA has the toughest game, and Wales has their easy game against Iran. So you're telling me to end the group stage, if Wales beats Iran and England loses to Wales, or sorry, if Wales beat Iran and USA loses to England, literally you're talking about right here, England at 6, Wales at 4, USA at 1. At this point, you have England and Wales. What they don't need to go all out. They could just be like, handshake deal. Look, we're both in. England's like, I'm in. I got nothing to worry about. I'm in. Wales, you're in with a tie. With a tie, you're in. They're probably playing the bench players. They don't need to win the game. And they don't need to go crazy. They could just tie it out at 0. And USA's out. Because USA needs a win. USA cannot lose. They can't. Because the next game is England. If they don't win that game, if they lose that game, they're in big trouble. If they're tied, they're still in a difficult spot. They can't make mistakes. The England game is a tough game. Literally, you could say they were going to lose that game. The Iran game, you could say they're going to win that game. The Wales game was the game they needed to win to make things easier for them, to breathe easier. Because if you're going to go into this like, okay, open up with Wales. All right. We beat Wales. We're 3. Tied with England, right? Like I had it before. England, USA could be like, look, we ain't got to go crazy hard. We could tie 4-4. The other guys can play it out and whatever. We could tie with Wales at the end of the game. You can tie Iran at the end of the game, and we'll still go at 5. Wales will have 4 total points. Beating Iran, tying with England. There's so much math you can play with, just because at the end of the day, like, that was the issue that was before when Peru played Colombia and Peru scored that 1 goal and tied it, and they were able to classify. There were people talking about how, like, the players are talking about, like, not to play anymore, just to finish the game off as a 1-1 tie, because of the fact that Peru was going to qualify with the tie. The tie helped them, and Colombia just didn't care. The Colombia was like, well, we want to solidify our spot. As long as we didn't lose, we were good. They were good with a tie. We were even better spot with a tie because we needed that point. We couldn't lose. This is what people have to understand. There are little things that go on the field that you don't know about. Even though FIFA tries to play the last games of the group stage simultaneously, but like I said, if England and Wales go at the last game, and they're both literally already in, why do they have to go crazy all out? There is no necessity. England doesn't care. Why is Wales going to care? So probably put the bench players, hey, just make it an interesting game. Don't go crazy. Just pass the ball around, whatever. It's play like a scrimmage. Play like a scrimmage. It puts USA in a bad spot. It does. But it could have easily been resolved if they won this game. I will say this on the record right now. If USA gets eliminated in the group stage, they need to find a new head coach. I never agreed with the hire of Berhalter. He was never somebody I approved of. I felt there was nepotism in there. Take that out of it. I felt that the style he wanted to play on paper is good, but he didn't have a team sound enough to play it, though. He doesn't have a team sound enough to play it. That's not his fault. And this is a whole separate conversation I'm not going to get into. USA needs to win, needs to figure out what they're going to do against England. Because England literally came out and shot rockets. Marcus Rashford came in as a sub and scored in less than a minute of coming on. I'm not saying he's going to do that against USA, but I'm just saying, look at that talent, bro. Look at that talent. Jack Grealish scored a goal. Raheem Sterling scored. Harry Kane didn't have to score a goal. This is what I'm telling you. Everybody's like, Harry Kane. The team just showed you they can still win and win like heavily without having to have Harry Kane score a goal. That is a problem. USA needs to be ready. Berhalter needs to figure out what he's going to do. Josh Sargent, I don't think is going to start next game. No offense, but you had your moments. I just don't think it was enough. This has been an issue from the get with the United States, is that striker position. And it's still an issue. I honestly believe Pepe should have been there and P. Falk both should have been there. There's there's 2 guys that I don't think should have belonged there. I'm not going to get in there because that's the whole separate conversation again. You can go everyone on the YouTube rounds and other podcasts, and they'll name me the names of who shouldn't be on there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to waste that time. Back to Ecuador and the Group A and everything here. Okay. What we're seeing here is they're adding a lot more time. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because you have teams already playing. You're having the World Cup in a location that's very hot and humid, and you have to play the games at night just to adjust and make it at least, something normal. Then you had to change the games from being played in July to December to accommodate that even more. It's hot over there, and you're going to have these guys play an extra 10 more minutes? Why? Are you waiting for somebody to pass out from dehydration or something? Come on, FIFA. Like, I get it. I get there's issues here and there. I get you want to follow up. But you have to look at the health and safety of the players. You know, you have to. The last thing you want is what almost happened to Christian Eriksen at the Euros. The man almost died. That's the whole different conversation because that was a health medical issue with cardiac arrest. But here we're talking about something that is controllable. Water breaks. Make sure the game is not too long for the players. You know? So I was arguing and trying to figure out because when Qatar was losing, they added like a bunch of minutes in there for Ecuador. And then in the Iran game, literally, Iran got a PK on a foul, on a penalty call in the box on a corner kick or a free kick. Can't remember. For something that happens every time in the box. Is nothing different. If you're going to make that call every time. And if that's the case, you're going to have PKs every game after every free kick and after every corner kick. That jostling they were doing, that always happens. Always. And that's even the nice part of it. If you played and you've been in that box and you've been like jostling position, doing all these on your defender, you know the stuff that you do. That junk ain't right, but you know what you do. I know the one thing I do is somebody, a forward touch me, I'm like, I smack the hand. Don't touch me, man. Don't touch me. Get your hands off me. But me, I'm a different. I will touch you, grab you. I will make sure you act. I just don't want you touching me. It's the nature of the game. But the fact you call that PK for what? For what? We could probably review the game and see. England got those fouls too, but it wasn't called. Ecuador got fouled like that too, but it wasn't called. Qatar probably got those fouls too. It wasn't called either. Why are you calling that now? That's a big that could hurt in the end because that's a 6-2 game, 4-point goal differential compared to a 5. That, I mean, put it this way: if Wales beats Iran, all right, it's just devil's advocate, beats Iran 5-0. Off the rip, they have and let's just say England ties with USA. Right? Wales has a better goal differential. Wales will be in first place behind, and England will be second because of that goal differential. So now the game that they play at the end actually does have a little bit of a meaning because now they're jostling for positions. Because now it's whoever's in first in Group A plays a second place in Group B. So now, who wants to play the Netherlands? Who wants to play Ecuador? That's what it comes down to in that game. FIFA got to do better, man. USA, there's still hope. You just put yourself in a tight box. Berhalter got to be better with the subs, man. You have to be better with those subs. That's been an issue as well too with him. Time and time again, you have to. Like, I'm not saying you're trash, but that's the one thing you have to improve on. You need to look at the game film and you need to go back and see the subs that you made. How did it benefit the team? And if not, okay, who could you put in to benefit the team? This is why you have the friendlies, man. That's why you have the friendlies. So you figure out who you need and where you need them at. And Pepe's been on a roll, and so is Pifo. Pifo was on a roll too. I just don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. But all right, this is a short little review of Group A and Group B after the first games and where I see things going. Ecuador probably end up staying in second place compared to England's first place. England, the way they showed out today, they're literally tell everybody in Group B, we're gonna run with this. Y'all figure out who's in second place. And USA and Wales tied, so now they're actually figuring out second place, and they're gonna keep going. This is gonna be interesting. So tomorrow, first game is Argentina, Saudi Arabia at 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I don't know if I'm gonna do that one because baby, happy birthday, mi Maritza. It's your birthday today, so we're gonna go out and figure out what we're gonna do tonight. I don't know. I gotta spoil this woman. I love her, so I gotta figure out something for her. But thank you, everybody. I'll see y'all tomorrow when I give you my updates on what I saw from the first games from Group C and D after they're said and done. All right. I'll try to see if I can keep this going on during the World Cup and see how that goes. It might be a little difficult on Thursday because I'm going to be over at my buddy Coach Dusko's house, having a little get together there for the Brazil-Serbia game. So I figure I'd join them. So that might still happen that day, but it might be a little later when I come home after that. All right. So catch me out tomorrow. I'll be here sometime after the 2:00 game is completed. Stay tuned. Watch the pages. I will let you know when I'll be coming on. All right. Have a good one, everybody. See y'all tomorrow.